I think the strategic plan really is intended to take the seminary into the next 3, 5, 10 years on a journey of growth. Part of that growth is increasing the enrollment in our degree programs, but it really also is about growing our mission to include other elements, particularly around the areas of lifelong learning, micro-credentialing, and expanding the ways in which we offer theological education to the wider community. So out of this plan came really the core strategy, and that is to serve the public through serving the church. Christian Theological Seminary has to think about the fact that our job isn't just to provide education for people who are involved immediately in the church, but to think about there are people outside the church who really are lifelong learners in relationship to their own spiritual life, their own family life, their own communities, and they're desperate for resources. And so we've spent a lot of time over this, even the first year of the strategic plan, to engage our denominational leaders by creating advisory councils in which we actually meet with judicatory leaders and hearing about what they see, what is needed, what is missing, what new demands are being made upon clergy these days.
I'm excited as an alumni to be able to see the new opportunities that CTS's new degree program, especially in the Master's Divinity, allows for us to give new learners an opportunity to find their footing in ministry. CTS will be providing opportunities that are centered around justice, centered around lifelong learning. It is an opportunity to say that you get an education here, you learn, you're nurtured here, and once you are finished with your degree program, that education continues.
So often people think that when students come to seminary that they are maybe just coming right out of undergraduate, or they're taking early steps in their career into seminary, and for some that's true. And so this whole notion of learner-centeredness really causes us to expand our way of thinking about who our students are, what their needs are, and how we are best equipped to enable them to go and do the kind of work that they desire to do in the world.
When we think about bolstering enrollment at CTS, when you talk to pastors, you often hear them say, "Oh, I wish I had learned this in seminary." Well, for the past year, the faculty and leadership at Christian Theological Seminary has been hard at work, not only rethinking our core Master of Divinity degree, but also thinking about 2 new initiatives that will enhance education across the life of ministry. One has to do with public courses that are open to anyone from the public who is interested in theology and in matters of our common life together. The other has to do specifically with what we are calling micro-credentialing opportunities. And these are short skill-based courses that deal with such topics as fundraising, strategic planning, volunteer management, and other courses that are very germane to religious leadership in the 21st century. We think that all of these different initiatives together will help enhance our learning community here at the seminary.
The Counseling Center plays a really important role in increasing enrollment in our CTS programs. I think our center is really a gem in terms of being able to offer a program that's all in-house, which is not very common. And to be able to have your placement for your internship hours be at a place where you also can work with your professors, the same professors that you have in coursework, but also your supervisors are connected with the philosophies of teaching and the same kind of principles of teaching that CTS offers.
For decades now, Christian Theological Seminary has been offering degrees in counseling, different kinds of degrees over the years. Currently, we're offering a degree in clinical mental health counseling and marriage and family therapy. I think we've always known that our commitment to mental health has been significant and important. It's also the case that we're becoming more and more clear about the various forms of oppression in our society and the kinds of stressors that creates mentally, not only on individuals, but on families, on neighborhoods, on entire communities. Not every seminary has the opportunity to be able to offer degrees in counseling. So I think it's a fantastic thing that Christian Theological Seminary does that. As the Gospel of John says, "For God so loved the world." That's everybody. It's not that God so loved a few of us, or just the people in this area, but for God so loved the entire world.
CTS has made a commitment to become an anti-racist institution, and toward that end has engaged in a racial bias audit where we're holding up the mirror to ourselves to take a close look at our practices, our policies, our ways of engaging as a community to ensure that what we desire to do and who we desire to be is actually what's happening. CTS is dedicated to becoming a place that is open and affirming and welcoming and accessible. And so in order for that to happen, we want to make sure that not only are we saying that we're doing that, but we're going the extra mile to ensure that in every facet of our community that ethos is taking precedent.
Establishing justice resources for the church is a vital part of this seminary's work. The Faith in Action Project is an interfaith effort at CTS dedicated to fueling a revolution of hope in Indianapolis. It also gives us an opportunity to strengthen relationships and ignite an inclusive movement focused on well-being, equity, and justice.
One of the things that we've heard from pastors all over the city of all kinds of denominations, of all racial backgrounds, is that they believe that social justice and the work of justice is important to the life of the church. It's important to their work, but they're also realizing that they're not able to do very much of it, that they've not been very successful at it. And so by convening people, one of the things that we do is that we help people connect with other like-minded organizations and churches, and that there could actually be greater opportunity for action by bringing people together.
And with a partner like CTS convening us around the table, it allows us to address problems in our city and our state, problems in the area that we wouldn't have a large enough voice to handle alone. It allows us to speak with strength and speak with a prophetic voice that is shared by so many of our faith traditions.
As we come to the end of the first year of the implementation of the strategic plan, one of the things that I'm really clear about is that CTS is on the edge of a significant growth spurt. And one of the things that means is that it's going to require increased engagement of the entire community. It's also going to require deeper levels of communication and trust. It's going to require deeper levels of vulnerability and humility. But I think it's also a tremendous moment. It's a beautiful moment.